Thanks for sharing and liking, everybody. Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me pre-show. We're going to get started here in about 9 minutes. This gives everybody a chance to come on. We can chat about the little things, and it gives me a chance to kind of connect with everybody and say hello, those people who aren't a part of the Dumb Club and all of that. So welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. We'll listen to some still point in the background. Once again, I appreciate everybody liking. As soon as you come in, it makes a difference. It actually allows the stream to get out there and allows us to get some exposure. So thank you for doing it. I appreciate it. Yeah, the old camera's back. And decided, since Mikey's not on the show, put my old camera back. I love this angle. It's one of my favorite cameras. And I never got it back up. So there we are. Listening from Holbrook Pond, Fort Stewart, Georgia, Sharon says. That's the first time I think I've heard of Holbrook Pond in Fort Stewart. It's interesting. I haven't heard of that. I don't think I've seen Sharon here before, but that wouldn't shock me. Olivia is usually running the panel. So, folks, full-fledged Zoom is available. If you have Zoom and you want to come on the show, you can use Zoom. You can actually use the Don't Unfriend Me channel, which is a link that I can provide you if you want to, or you can call in, which you'll see the number when the show starts. Lolly, what is going on? Welcome. Deborah. Hello, Deborah. Let's make sure we're liking it, people. That's how we get this thing growing. Hello, Tammy. Hello from Virginia. What's up, Maddie? Welcome. Adeline, hello. What is going on, Bubba? Welcome, buddy. Watching on your Rumble app. Nice, thank you. Tammy, let me know if Rumble gets out of hand at all. Olivia's not going to be monitoring tonight. She's at Ethan's game. Steven, hello. Thomas, I got the hat. It's sitting right over my shoulder, big guy. You can see it right in the middle to the right, right on top, right over here. I put it on. It fits, but I need a haircut. So, got to go get my haircut. I'll probably get one tomorrow if I can, and I'll be definitely wearing it. What's going on, Leroy? Yeah, Leroy, would love to have you. You want to come on? Come on. Love that. Of course. You never have to ask, dude. Just come on. And you can use Zoom if you want to. Or if you want to go through the normal chat, you can do that too. Yes, absolutely. Come on. Thank you very much for the hat, Thomas. Means a great deal. Chevelle, what's going on? Lee, what's up? Cheryl, what is going on? So yeah, I got some video of Ethy to share with y'all. As soon as this song's over, show you some video of the E-Dog. So his first at bat, he got hit by a pitch. He took it like a champ. Took it like a man, which is good. Yep, I've got video. All right, so we'll listen to some more still point here in a minute. Always like to start off. So a lot of pitching highlights tonight. E is pitching. Ooh, swing and strike. Let me get the sound in here. Come on. Thank you. Hold on. Sound. Roadcaster. Boom. All right. Why does it keep doing that? Ethan's on the mound. He's pitching tonight. Usually they only pitch for 1 inning, but he sat 3 batters, 1, 2, 3 inning, and the coach is like, all right, we're putting him back in. So Ethan has been the MVP of the game for 3 games in a row. He's the best batter. I don't know about fielder, maybe, but definitely the best batter, hands down. And I don't know why it keeps doing this. I'm sorry, folks. But, yeah, he just sat them all down. And I think that's, that's really it. I'll get some bat highlights here from Olivia soon. But first batter, he went down and took a digger. 3 minutes to go. We got Leroy coming in here. As soon as I create a spot for him. Let's see. We'll put him right there. I'll have to amend slide. So what? Who cares? What's up, Leroy?
What is up, gang?
Dude,
How's
you're a little close.
Oh, sorry.
Did you move your camera?
No, I didn't.
Your lighting has been so good lately, and everything else.
Do you have the Zoom thing? Maybe.
No, Zoom's not on. That's what I was. Nope. Yeah, I checked everything. You're just you're a little closer, but it's okay.
I'm
no
just
big deal.
bigger than life today. That's all it is.
I think I had a feeling.
Yeah.
It's nice to see you, dude. I didn't expect you to be here because I was going to run solo tonight because Olivia is at the ball game. But dude, it's great to have you. I always love little surprises.
It's because I love you too. She sounded like hell yesterday, and I was like, oh my god! I was wondering how that was going to play out.
Yeah, she didn't sound good
at
all.
Right?
Yeah. Laryngitis through allergies and such. By the way, folks, all the way down at the bottom, you can see there's a red and blue bar. I got to say like at least 15 requests from people saying, hey man, where are you at for the month? Do you have a goal that you and Olivia are trying to achieve? And yes, we are. But I look at it this way. I'll put it up, and if that helps people decide to help contribute to the show, then so be it. Right now, April goal, $350. We're trying to achieve $1,000 for the remainder of the time. And if you could help, we would appreciate it. This will auto update if you tip in the show, and that you do that by linktapgo.com/the DUM Show. It will auto tip and update the total. And if you go to PayPal and donate, I'll manually update it. But I appreciate everything you guys can do to help us. The show is paid for by you. Leroy, your mic is a little weird. What does that mean? Leroy, talk.
Check 1 2. Is it hot?
Yeah, you're hot. You're coming in. Give me one more.
Check 1 2.
Okay, let me give you a little volume there. All right, now try it one more time.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
Yeah, you sound perfect. You don't sound scratchy to me. You guys, if he sounds scratchy, jump out and come back in. Thanks for watching the DUM Show, folks. That's it for pre-show. Spreely will be on in 30 seconds. It'll be great to see them. Then we will shift gears and get the show started. Should come in about an hour and 29 minutes tonight. Sit your tray tables in the upright position and fasten your seatbelts, and we're about to take off.
you want the truth? Are you tired of being so confused? You feel like you're more fucked up than the lies on the evening news. Well, just step right in. We can talk about it all as friends. And if you want, we can hug and kiss and make up for the party ends. Agree or disagree, stop arguing me. 'Cause I'm everything you want, damn sure what you need. I won't tell no lies, back up all the facts with truth. And if you can't get down with that, you must be somebody's dad.
What's up, everybody? It's Ryan Weaver. I am on the Don't Unfriend Me show, otherwise known as the DUM Show, with host Matt Spear. You guys can find the show at The DUM Show on social media or thedumshow.com.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me show with your hosts Matt, Leroy, Amy, Olivia and Mike. Geopolitics, military analysis and election coverage. Coming to you live on the Spreely.tv network and all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree, just don't unfriend me.
I'm going to have to redo that one more time. Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show, everybody. Welcome to Twitch, Spreely, YouTube. Let's see, who else do we got in the house? Facebook and X, Twitter, whatever the hell they call themselves. Yeah, and who am I missing? Rumble. Let's get ready to rumble.
Liv, are we alive on Rumble? Liv?
I think Liv's not here. I don't care how hard you yell. She's not going to hear you. Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. Leroy, you're huge, and you're I don't know. Someone moved your camera, or it zoomed in. I'm just letting you know. So remember the last time this happened, and I said, "Hey, it's a software thing," and I bet there's a setting on your camera, and you're like, "No," and then you check, and you're like, "Oh." I got that feeling, but anyway, whatever. We're going to deal with it.
The old man in me that's just like, no, you kids and your technology, get off my lawn. Yeah.
Well, welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. You guys get to see a few of the t-shirts that we offer over at thedumshow.com. Take a look, go on over there and see what you can do. We have a ton of great stuff, and whether it's coffee or shirts or great books on the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the Declaration of Independence, whatever it is, it's all over there. Leroy, the thing we don't do is we have new listeners come on all the time, and we don't give them an introduction of who the hell we are. So I'm Matthew Spear. I'm the host of Don't Unfriend Me. And then over there, that guy is who?
So this is Leroy Jenkins. And folks, it is a code name. I am I currently work in the IC, so I have to kind of shield myself a little bit. There will come a point in time where I'm able to use my real name, but I do this to kind of shield myself because of the visibility that I have and the fact that the military is kind of, they try to separate themselves politically. Like if you speak definitively in a certain way right now, the military will find a way to get you out. So I'm just trying to shield myself from that.
So needless to say, Leroy is, that's his pseudonym, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what it's called, right? I mean, pseudonym, pen name,
Whatever it
ghost
is.
name,
Yeah.
whatever it is. He could tell you, but then he'd have to kill you. Welcome, everybody. And listen, here's what we do here in the Don't Unfriend Me Show. We have random conversations about things that are happening all over the country, all over the world. We like to have a geopolitical perspective, but we also like to have filter some things through the military and also, U.S. politics. And we get into some other things once in a while, but predominantly
Hockey.
that's, well, yeah, even though you said it sucked, but that's not very nice.
kidding.
But no, oh yeah, Livia thought it was real funny. She's like, "Oh, Leroy's totally kidding." You should have heard what she called you. Anyway, so yeah, if you guys have not had a chance, Dumb Club is available. You guys can go to thedumbclub.com, take a look, and see. It's a really cool thing. Go take a look. Real simple. I'm not going to sit here and give it all to you right now. We'll talk about it later. Leroy, couple of things, couple hot button topics. A lot going on right now. I'm going to have to switch our window uno mas. 1 second. Let me just highlight that and we'll fix it. Because, yeah, once again, I didn't expect you to be on tonight. Once again, it's a happy, fortuitous surprise. And then go to video. And let's see, I'll take that down and we'll just delete it. And we'll go Command V.
It doesn't matter. You always make me look better than I am. So,
Well, that's the truth.
and that's
Thank you.
and that's a
You're the
lot.
best.
Saying a lot.
Say hi to Uncle Leroy.
Heyo.
Hey, how's it going, kiddo?
He says, "How's it going, kiddo?"
Okay. Hi, it's going good.
Good.
She's super busy. She helped me set up the camera, but she's got a ton of homework and
I hate finals.
she hates finals. She's going into high school, dude. So this is
grow up
which is
fast, right?
Oh my God, dude, it's so wrong. I don't even know how to handle it. High school, my God. So I got a couple things to show you tonight. Good show planned, and let's get to it. A whole bunch of stuff. All right. So first of all, I want to talk about. I think I'll start with. No, Cat, be quiet. Mom's not here. It's not my fault she's not here. Okay, don't get mad at me. No. Oh, this cat, Leroy, I tell you. I'm trying to get everything set up real quick. That's why I'm stalling.
Stall away.
Yeah.
Away. I will say that when I go to work, and I am the normal, like, I'm like 100-year-old man, because when I go to work, it's the AM radio. Like, I'm just listening to the news, so I get kind of a quick, taste for what's
was
currently
created.
in the headlines both on my way to work and on the way home. So there's some stuff that I'm aware of, but not everything.
Well, here's the first thing. So obviously there is hey Hayden, get the kitty, please. There's this very large kind of this effort that you're seeing in Arizona where they're going after the electors, which essentially change their overall vote. And electors are supposed to represent the state. Now, it's not illegal for them to change their vote. The issue with the Arizona and I believe the Michigan electors is that they falsified their vote and submitted duplicate electors. And that is the
Arizona and Michigan?
I believe it was Arizona and Michigan. Somebody can correct me. And that's the big difference between people are saying, well, hold on. Didn't the Democrats do this? Didn't they change votes in 2016? They sure did. And honestly, pretty much every election, there are some electors that kind of have a protest vote. And the reason why it doesn't matter is because it doesn't matter, right? That doesn't change the president. And even if they do change, it still doesn't impact the overall electoral college. It's just a protest vote.
Right.
But here's a video. There's two videos I want you to watch because this is really important. They're coming after Trump and they're saying that he tried to influence and steal the election with J6. James, That is so not okay with my 13-year-old daughter. So I'm just going to let it go, but I want you to take a moment. I want you to think about that. Cool. Yeah, I want you to think about that for a second, and I want you to process that, and then let me know what you come up with in the next minute or two, if you could. I'd appreciate it. Thanks. Not okay with my 13-year-old kid. It's just not okay. I understand the intent. I get it. I understand it. It would be funny under normal circumstances, just not with my family. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm moving. See, I'm grown as a human being. That would have been a 45-minute conversation. Yeah. And
that would have been, there would have been 15, 20 minutes of totally digging into the guy.
I like James.
I am exceptionally proud of you.
Yeah, I like James. I like James a lot. And I know he didn't mean it that way. And I know he wasn't trying to be insulting. So I'm not even going to take it that way. Anyway, so we don't get off base. So this whole thing, it's very different than what the Democrats did. But what the Democrats did should be against the law based upon the way that they're treating Donald Trump. Is Donald Trump didn't purposefully hire people from Michigan and Arizona to change the vote. These are people who protest voted on their own volition. And even if he did, it is still the exact same thing as what you're about to watch here, because these people are tied to the administration. These are people who have spent time with Barack Obama. They have spent time with Hillary Clinton. And at least it opens up an investigation possibility to look and see, once again, if Obama or Hillary or anyone else in the past has done the same thing that Donald Trump supposedly did. So let's watch this. And if you can, commit a crime by osmosis, which is essentially just thinking about it or mentioning it, and then someone does it, well, then everybody's guilty of everything. Every woman that I look at between the ages of probably 12 years old and probably 30, I absolutely slept with in my mind. Is that rape now? Here we go. Let's listen to this. James, it's okay. I'm so over it, and I'm not even remotely even bothered by it. It's over. Okay, scratch it. I was bothered, but I'm not. But I'm learning how to just let shit go. You're someone I care about, so I just felt it was important for me to tell you. You know what I'm saying? Because if I don't, then I'm making a mistake. Then I'm letting it happen again. That's all. Here we go.
Republican members of the Electoral College, this message is for you. As you know, our founding fathers built the Electoral College to safeguard the American people from the dangers of a demagogue and to ensure that the presidency only goes to someone who is, to an eminent degree, endowed with the requisite qualifications.
An eminent degree. Someone who is highly qualified.
Okay. An eminent degree. Holy right? Yeah. Just Leroy, go ahead, because I want to blow it up already. Because
I'm just saying, like right out of the gate, the very first thing is like some level of subjectivity, like something that cannot be defined necessarily. That's the problem.
Yeah, and it's not eminent domain, right? It's eminent, right? So two very, very different words. And the prerequisite to become the president of the United States is you have to be over 45 years old, 40 years old, 45 years old, American citizen.
35. 35?
Oh, is it 35? It might be 35. Let me look.
Yeah.
Gosh, you got the Constitution right? It doesn't matter. The point is, Leroy will fact check it. But I always thought it was 45, but I could totally be wrong. And then American citizen. And, you're not looking at, incredible amounts of prerequisites. And then high crime misdemeanor, you can't have any sedition or treasonous actions toward the 35. Okay, so 35 years old. When I was younger, it just seemed so far away.
I know.
So when you're talking about, a very clear, responsibility with a massive amount of experience. No. In fact, there are SEALs who are politicians. There are homemakers who are politicians. There's lawyers. There's every kind of person. There are no prerequisites in any way, shape, or form Now, there's qualifications that people will endow upon a person running for office and then weigh them. But we've had an actor as president twice.
Right.
If that tells you anything. So, let's dial it back a little bit. It used to be they have to be a veteran. Well, that ship sailed a long time ago. So let's listen to the rest. But I want you to listen to the language. They're sitting here, they're for the Electoral College. This was just 8 simple years ago. Now they want to abolish the Electoral College. They didn't want an empirical ruler or a tyrant. Now they're all for it as long as it's not Donald Trump, to break every law in the books. So let's see what else we can figure out in this little video that is no longer accurate with the Democrat Party.
The job.
The Electoral College was created specifically to prevent an unfit candidate from becoming president.
No, it wasn't.
That's not true.
That's not true at all. Leroy, why was the Electoral College created? Folks, this is going to be a fun episode. I can already tell.
Look, folks, if you have highly popular, a high concentrations of population at the outer edges, right? 80% of the world lives within I think it's 20 or 30 miles of a coastline, right? Which dictates that all along the eastern coastline and all along the western coastline, you're going to have the highest population density in the United States. So
and the Gulf, and the Gulf.
So why the Electoral College? Well, that's to make sure that a candidate couldn't just go into 2 major cities, Los Angeles and New York, and then win the vote. No, he has to. That's the reason for the breakup in the Electoral College. He has to campaign in each and every state. It's a means to make sure that someone cannot ignore the flyover states. That's it.
So that's the predominant reason. There's also another underlying reason, is that the president is not the president of the people. And I have said this on this show 1,000 times, and it's always something that people go, oh, wow, I never thought of that. The president of your state is the governor. And the governor is essentially the president. And the president is actually the president of the governors. And his job is to represent and protect the state's sovereignty and independence, but loyalty under the flag of the United States of America. That is the president's job, is to recognize their borders, recognize their state constitution, recognize their law, and always remember, without a doubt, with no equivocation, that the 10th Amendment always trumps federal law. So when we sit here and say, well, what does that mean, Matt? How can you say that federal law doesn't trump state law? This is a great question. Because there will come a time when the states will have a very controversial issue, or one that is adopted by 20 or 30% or 50% of the states, but not all. And therefore, it remains a state decision. For instance, marijuana use. For instance, certain gun restrictions. Concealed carry. Cat, I'm going to kill you. Get out of my office. All right. So that ultimately can be decided by a vote. And you will see something and refer to it as the Convention of States, which is not needed. But if you want to go in and start dissecting the Constitution, you're going to need to have a very large majority, a 2/3 majority to propose an amendment and a 3/4 majority to remove an amendment. The reason why we have an electoral college more than anything and any other reason is because of the 10th Amendment. Because if you reserve the powers to the states, then the states should have the influence to decide from their governorships and the gubernatorial who is going to represent the states collectively, internationally, and from a federal level. So each state gets an equal representation based upon the people in that state, and they get a certain amount of votes. This is why the electoral map changes a little bit, where you'll see some states grow in population, so they get an extra electoral point, however that works. So racing to 270 has what it's been consistently, but that's not always the way it is.
That's why your census is so important.
That's right. And that's why asking the question, are you an illegal immigrant? This is why, because places like California, they gained 12 House representatives this cycle because of the census. And those illegals were counted. Now, people could say illegals can't vote. That's not true, because you don't have to go and punch a ticket to vote. Your representation as an American citizen, and you need an elected representative, is a vote. It's a passive vote, but it's still you're being represented and you're not an American. In fact, those 12 additional House legislatures more than likely would be absolved the moment that we did voter identification or allowed the census from a constitutional standpoint to be legal to ask the following question: are you are you an American citizen? That question has been deemed unconstitutional, so therefore we can't ask it, which means that ultimately illegal immigrants have a say in the vote because those representatives are based upon them. And here's the real rub, is that those areas that have that increased population will be able to go ahead and vote locally in some cases on those politicians that are assigned based on the politicians, especially in California. So now you're in a situation where city, state, local municipalities might be influenced by illegal immigrants. So can illegal immigrants vote in the U.S. election for president? No. But can they vote in local and city? In some places they can. And I think that's what Americans are saying, is we want that to change.
Right.
It's a long answer. Let's go ahead and listen to the rest of this. Do you have anything you want to add on that, Leroy?
No. You summed it up perfectly.
Okay, that was a long one, but good. Here we go.
538 members of the Electoral College. You
and just 36 other conscientious Republican electors can make a difference
by voting your conscience on December 19th.
And thereby shaping the future of our nation.
I'm not asking you to vote for Hillary Clinton.
I'm not asking you to vote for Hillary Clinton.
I'm not asking you to vote for Hillary Clinton.
Yes, you are.
As you know, the Constitution gives electors the right to vote for any eligible person.
Any eligible person, no matter which party they belong to.
But it should certainly be someone you consider especially competent.
Especially competent to serve as President of the United States of America.
By voting your conscience, you and other brave Republican electors can give the House of Representatives the option to select a qualified candidate for the presidency.
I stand with you.
I stand with you.
I stand with you.
I stand with you in support and solidarity with conservatives, independents, and liberals.
And all citizens of the United States.
The American people trust that your voice speaks for us all.
And that you will make yourself heard through the constitutional responsibility granted to you by Alexander Hamilton himself.
What is evident is that Donald Trump lacks more than the qualifications to be president.
He lacks the necessary stability.
And clearly the respect for the Constitution of our great nation.
Jeez. You have position,
the authority,
and the opportunity to go down in the books as an American hero
who changed the course of history.
And you have my respect.
You have my respect.
You have my respect.
For your patriotism
and service to the American people. Unite for America.
Oh my God. I'm even going to let you go first because every single one of those people should be in jail. They should be in prison based upon the precedent set with J6 and these sham trials that are taking place.
Right.
Every one of those people tried to overthrow a official election. They should be in prison. Go ahead, Leroy.
Here's the problem. When you allow actors when you allow them the platform to go up in front of an audience like that and say, we trust you. No, when someone says something like that, right. What they're saying is, we don't trust you. That's why we're here. Right? When someone says something like that, what they're telling you to your face is, we don't trust you.
I'm sorry.
That's why we're running this ad, and we want you to vote the way we do. We want you to vote, to not vote your conscience or for the Constitution or any of that. We just want you to think like we do. And we're going to wrap it up so that these actors that you feel like you've watched for years and know and trust, that you're going to do what we say. That's the point of that ad. Because if it was just a bunch of strangers, nobody would give a fuck. Sorry, shouldn't have.
That's okay. No,
True though.
no, I'm
It's
trying
true, though.
not to cuss. I'm trying not to cuss, but that doesn't mean you have to. You're my guest. Here's the problem. Is I can also show you over 286 different clips that will have Democrats questioning the results of the 2016, the 2000 election with Haney Chad, Florida, with Gore. I can show you the same thing. And the reason why I bring this up today is because I don't care about the electors in Arizona and Michigan. I don't. I don't give a shit about them. And everyone's like, but Matt, they're going after Rudy Giuliani. Good. Because if they're innocent and they didn't do anything, but I watched what Giuliani did. I watched what Lynn Wood did. I watched them lie to you. I had to convince most of you at one point and beg you to stay on this show because you thought I was lying to you. I had to talk about the stolen election for almost 4 years. And the bullsugar that came out of that. And I'll tell you what, folks, I'm still proven right. I'm undefeated. And you can come and you can give me all the whatever you want. You can call my show and tell me how I'm wrong and how I don't know what I'm talking about, but you can't prove a thing. And I can destroy any argument you have because I've been doing it for 4 years. And why? Because I simply just provide you the facts. The facts. So if Rudy Giuliani goes to prison, so be it. If Lynn Wood goes to jail, if the Kraken goes to prison, I don't care. These people weren't loyal to Trump. They weren't loyal to Donald Trump. They absolutely sandbagged Donald Trump and they left him out to dry. And they're all going to roll over on him like all of them have. Manafort, Cohen. We can sit here until the cows come home. And the ones that won't roll over him are the ones that Donald Trump had to give a pardon to. Do I believe that every single one of those people deserve to be in jail? No, but I think they should be investigated because I know firsthand for a fact Rudy Giuliani lied on several occasions, and I reported it to you in shows, and I told you what he did. If they broke the law, they need to pay. But there's a big but. That goes true on the other side as well. And if you're going to sit here and say that Giuliani and Lynn Wood and the Kraken and all this deserve to go to prison because they perpetuated the lie that the Proud Boys and anybody like the Oath Keepers or anyone else who was involved in J6 need to go to prison, then every one of those celebrities need to be in jail. They solicited illegally to influence electors with millions of dollars from special interest groups. That breaks campaign finance laws. And they put themselves in a position to legislate. They were prescribing orders to these people.
True.
That absolutely 100% is entrapment and encouraging people to commit a crime. It isn't illegal. But for you to pressure people using influence in a subtle way is exactly what you've accused Donald Trump of. So if they are not guilty of influencing and trying to steal an election, then Donald Trump isn't guilty of trying to influence and steal an election. Do you see how this works? It's nonsense. Those actors don't deserve to be in prison, and either does Donald Trump. Donald Trump, until you have a smoking gun where Donald Trump says, I want you to be here on January 6th. I want you to mass up and bring zip ties. And I want you to storm the anteroom chambers. And I want you to break in and do whatever you can and harm everyone you can in order to steal this election back from me. Until you have that, you ain't got shit. So let's go ahead and be honest, because tonight it's all about hypocrisy. And we're breaking down. Go ahead, Leroy.
That's the point. That's the point of this whole, that's the point of the left, is that it cannot exist in the absence of hypocrisy. They need hypocrisy in order to to manipulate people in order to provide that double standard.
It's just
I have a
exhausting.
visitor that just showed up at my door. I have to go.
Oh, you have to
I'm
go,
sorry.
go?
Yeah, somebody just showed up at my door. My wife
Get
just
out of
came
here.
in to get. Yep, I'll talk
See
to you
ya.
in a little bit. I'm sorry.
Bye. All right. So no, that's fine. I was, totally. I was going to do the show solo anyway. Good to have Leroy here, and Leroy's now gone. I want to go into a couple of other things real quick. So here's the hypocrisy. Now people are going to come out and say all sorts of things. Oh yeah, it's totally different. It's not different. There's nothing different what Donald Trump did versus what those actors did. Donald Trump didn't change the state electors. He didn't have them falsify paperwork. And until you have that piece of paper, you're not gonna get him for anything. Now, let's go to this, because I want to talk about the Supreme Court and I want to talk about this decision. I think I feel pretty comfortable after listening to it today that the decision for Donald Trump with the immunity case, it's going to fall 6-3 or 5-4. One of the two, 6-3 or 5-4. Allergies are killing me. 6-3 or 5-4. And I don't know if they will say full immunity, but I think there'll be nuance around and defining what immunity means. Now, let me explain something. I don't believe that the SCOTUS is doing this to protect Donald Trump. Now, people are going to say that. Oh, this is completely, he appointed these people. They're loyal. He's got them bought and paid for. No, I don't think so. Most of the justices, I think, agree that there needs to be very clear lines of delineation between criminal and civil responsibility as president when that takes place and for what that entails. I think every one of those justices agree with that. Even Sotomayor. I do. But when I listen to Alito and I listen to Kavanaugh, and just they absolutely asked amazing questions, and it's going to expose some things. So I don't think the justices are doing it to defend Trump. I think what they're doing is defending the former presidents. Because what the former presidents have done is vastly more criminal than anything Donald Trump did. Let me give you some examples. Barack Obama, 200 plus drone strikes that killed civilians and Americans. He suspended habeas corpus, suspended due process, and good, these people should have died. I don't question Barack Obama giving the order to kill these people. They were terrorists. They had denounced America. They were still U.S. citizens, but I don't give a shit. I don't care. If you go over there and you start pitching for ISIS or Al-Qaeda, you're an enemy combatant. Who gives a shit about you? And I feel really reflective on other presidencies over my life. And I can look at LBJ with Vietnam, which was not Kennedy's wishes to go into Vietnam, and why we went into Vietnam, and the defense contracts and the money that would stimulate the expansion of rights for African Americans and people of color, the precipice of going into a recession, if not a depression during that time, all of those things. LBJ can be absolutely, and then honestly be litigated, which he probably had something to do because McNamara was very close to LBJ. And when Kennedy fired Dulles and fired McNamara, he pissed off a lot of fat cats who based upon the 14,000 documents that were just released, it lays it at the CIA's door. LBJ inherited that. LBJ understood what was going to happen. And if LBJ didn't sign off on it, he wasn't ignorant of it when they killed Kennedy. So, you know what? Let's go ahead and open up that case. Let's go all the way back to Lincoln. And let's go ahead and look at when Abraham Lincoln conflicted with the courts and decided to suspend habeas corpus and override the Constitution, which was absolutely against the law and against the Constitution of the United States of America. We need to open that up. Death wasn't good enough. We now need to litigate that case. We need to find the relatives of Lincoln, and we need to ensure that we go after the estate of Lincoln and we mar him in the history books for eternity. While we're at it, let's go after George Bush, Jr. and Sr., where hundreds of thousands of Iraqis and Afghans were murdered and killed. Now, it's war, but it doesn't matter. There are many people who have called for war crimes against the American president. And of course, it's never going to happen because the UN would be vetoed out because the United States has supreme power over the United Nations. Anyone who sits here and says the United Nations is going to take over the United States, we have them by the balls. Do you know how many times they've proposed amendments to recognize Palestine as a state? Do you know how much they wanted to do with COVID? And the United States said no. Veto, not a chance. But you could go after the Bushes. Oh, where's my brush? Oh. Yes? Oh, God, I hate allergies. It's always this time of year. Go back and look at my videos over the last 3 years. Right around April, end of April. This is what it always is. And I just, God, you know those things you clean your golf cleats with? I want to just sandpaper. All right. But when you look at this, you can go after Obama. You can open up cases against every single U.S. president, including Joe Biden, for the 13 dead in Afghanistan. He's responsible. He was the commander-in-chief. He's the one that blackmailed the Afghan president to go ahead and put Taliban forces on security. It was his decision. Japanese internment camps up with FDR, for sure. Absolutely. So I don't think the Supreme Court is thinking about Trump. I think they're doing this in spite of him. It's going to help Trump, but I think they're doing it not because of Donald Trump, because I think most of the justices believe that Donald Trump probably broke a few laws. And let's face it, folks, if you really, really look at the evidence on some of these things, he did. But it doesn't change the fact that other people have done the same and they're not being held to the same account. It changes things when these things are past the statute of limitations. It changes things when you have to wait till the election year in order to do this. It changes when you have to change state law in order to go ahead and go after somebody. It changes when the Department of Justice, the state's attorney, the local DA all pass on this case, but then they bring it back up right when we find out he's running for president again. These things impact this. Did Donald Trump obstruct justice? We know he most assuredly did in the NARA case with the documents. He defied 2 court orders to cease and desist and to return the documents, which they are the people's documents, and it's his job to do. That's it. It was 2 years posthumous from his presidency. They were well within their right. Now, most people don't execute that right, and they certainly waited 8 years for the Clintons. They sent them more frickin' cease and desist than I've hundreds, and the Clintons ignored them. But let's just be honest that there's probably a couple of things that Donald Trump, it's questionable, and that's fine because I don't care. I don't. There's no smoking gun here. He didn't kill anybody. These are all misdemeanors. This is just like Mar-a-Lago, the property value. None of this matters to his efficacy as a president of the United States. And none of this is related to him being the president of the United States. It's all shit that was done before or supposedly after. And isn't it amazing that nobody wants to go ahead and investigate the times that Joe Biden wasn't the president and had documents that he had no right to have that were stolen from a skiff in his garage? Oh my God. Oh my God. You're going to sit here and say that Biden doesn't deserve to be held to the same standard when he stole classified information because he had no right to have it. As a vice president or a senator, and especially as a senator, he took information from a SCIF and brought it home. That is not acceptable. It doesn't matter if NARA was a setup. See, here's the problem, Karen, and we've been through this before. I love when people say it's a setup. Then why did you fall for it? All he had to do was return those documents. That's all he had to do. That's it. And then they had nothing. But what Donald Trump did is like, I'm the president. Screw you. Well, guess what? Can't do that. There's an old adage, you can't fight City Hall, especially when you're no longer the governor or the mayor. Donald Trump was out of office. His power essentially became a status symbol based on a ceremonial title. He has no effective power as a former president, and he pushed the people who wanted to end him. If he simply just would have said, here's the documents, it's over. So you can sit here and say he was set up. You know what? That's what people say about the J6ers too. I don't care how convincing somebody is. I don't care how important somebody is. Karen, how was he to know it was a setup? When you get a court order that says you need to return the documents of the people, that every single document that is within the possession that are non-personal notes are absolutely 100% the possession of the American people. And NARA has done this with every single president, requested documents after a certain time frame. Now, this was 2 years on the nose with Trump. Did it happen 2 years on the nose with Bush? It did. Does that mean that they did something nefarious? No. What was nefarious was sending in FBI, giving Biden. I understand all of these things. See, this is the problem. Now everyone's going to throw this at me. Well, look at the way he treated Biden. Stop it. Just listen. This has nothing to do. I know what they did. I've already agreed. I know the way they treated Biden. Gave him a warning. Gave him a week to prepare. He had 5 times. He said, these are all the documents, and came back and gave more. I'm aware of all this. That doesn't change the fact that Donald Trump held on to documents for more than a year with 2 court orders to return them, with 2 warrants for return of property. He decided not to follow through. That is the only thing they're going to get him on. And you know what that is? It's a fine. But if he just would have returned the documents, this would have been over. If he just would have shut up after E. Jean Carroll the first time, he wouldn't have a $96 million punishment. He would have a $2 million punishment. Do you understand what I'm saying, folks? I'm not saying Donald Trump is wrong. I'm saying Donald Trump sometimes digs himself into shit that he normally would get himself out of if he would just comply. Okay? So to use the defense, Donald Trump doesn't know. Donald Trump is an extremely intelligent, smart human being. He has been in businesses in a cutthroat area in New York where most people don't last. He has survived the mob. He has survived a racist real estate empire in New York. He has survived construction companies going after him, people doing shoddy work, trying to sue him, bankruptcies, investments in multiple facets, and he survived. To say that he isn't aware that when you receive a court order to return the property of the United States of America and it's signed, sealed, and delivered with a seal of the United States on it, but you're bitter about an election, so you decide to hold on to them, that's obstruction. Whether you like it or not, it doesn't matter. That's obstruction. And the problem is the reason why people get so mad at us is because we do the same thing that liberals do. Liberals go, oh, no, not a boo-boo, stick your head in doo-doo. Nope. Biden did nothing wrong. Nope, never done anything wrong. Nope, he's perfect, he's great. And we sit here and go, how can you be so stupid? We sound like them because we never admit Donald Trump doesn't, well, I do. But you guys never admit Donald Trump has done anything wrong. How about the vaccine? What do you think about it? Is that wrong? oh, well, he didn't have all the information. Here you go again, making excuses for him. Donald Trump has made mistakes, y'all. We need to admit that. It's okay. I think Donald Trump doesn't admit enough for all of us. He's never admitted a mistake in his life. We can be honest. There's some things that he did that I didn't like. I didn't like him banning bump stocks. I didn't like him saying that he supports red flag laws. Do you? Did you agree with him in a free trade, because we believe in free trade, taxing and putting on trade tariff on China? What if somebody did that to us? Do we believe in capitalism and free trade, or don't we as conservatives? Help me understand. Even though it wound up being the right decision, do you agree with it? No, I hope not, because I don't, but it wound up being the right decision at the time. But really, American farmers and taxpayers paid that price. And that's why tariffs are ridiculous. It is a horrible, horrible process for trade negotiation. It's punitive, and it never gets passed on to the company. It always gets passed on to the consumer. We know this. So I'm going to answer your questions, but I'm not going to sit here and say that out of all these cases that there were things that Donald Trump did everything was right, because that's ridiculous. There's some ownership in there that he needs to be careful of, and his pride sometimes gets in the way. I think that's okay to say. We all have faults. Why can't Donald Trump have some faults? He's not Jesus, folks. He's not omnipotent. He's a man. He makes mistakes. So instead of denying them, where we sound like a bunch of assholes like Biden supporters who never admit Biden does anything wrong, can we just once in a while admit that Donald Trump's been wrong about some stuff? Okay. Now what? Let's move on. And guess what? We save face. We don't look stupid like they do. There's a very big difference between criticizing somebody to a point of trying to break them down and criticizing somebody with positive intent so they learn from their mistakes, right? I mean, that's we have to do that. We get that every day. We had it in school. We had it from our parents. We have it at our job. We have it from our loved ones. You hear it from me. I hear it from you. We constantly criticize to get better. Why is Donald Trump impervious? Why is he Teflon Don to criticism? I don't agree with that. And I think you shouldn't either. But what do I know? I could be wrong. Questions. This Stormy Daniels case isn't about using campaign funds to pay her, right? Isn't about whether she was paid because of the election or just to keep it quiet. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter, because a district attorney for New York has absolutely no oversight for the FEC and Federal Election Commission. The Federal Election Commission is the highest law in the land when it comes to campaign finance. States have absolutely no rights to prosecute this. So they have to prosecute did he try to influence an election with this decision? That's what they're doing. Good luck. Good luck proving that. Because then, you want to know what's going to happen? They're going to nail Biden to a cross. They're going to crucify him the day he's out. Because guess what? The laptop, he encouraged over 48 intelligence officials to write a letter saying that it was Russian disinformation and fake. Not true. He encouraged, through his channels and administration and his ties with Obama, to ensure that all information on Hunter Biden was absolutely suppressed on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, and all social media. When 71% of Americans polled said that information ultimately may have changed, would have changed, or could have changed their decision on who they voted for in 2020, with only like 20% of some odd people saying it wouldn't have mattered, and 10% saying that it mattered, but it didn't matter enough to change their mind. That is more people than just about any other topic align on that as much as they align on abortion. Because America is not undecided on abortion. America, 73% of Americans believe in some form of abortion, some form, whether it's right to life of mother, whether it's rape, whether it's incest, but most people believe. And you know what else? Even more alarmingly, over 77% do not believe in late-term abortions. So the message is clear. America has decided. It's the politicians who won't allow this to get solved. Just like the border. Just like the border. 68% of Americans, 69% of Americans believe that the border is the number one issue in this country right now. Just trading places with inflation and overall cost of goods. America's decided they want a secure border. This isn't hard, but these politicians won't get it done. Why did the Supreme Court say it is not legal to ask if someone is here illegally or not a citizen? Because this is, well, there's a few reasons. Tom, let me ask you a question. If someone was to knock on your door and they say, hi, I'm with the Census Bureau, are you going to talk to them? I would, but I kick people off my porch. I've got signs that said, don't come on my property. And people don't knock on my door. They know better. Because they ask the neighbors, hey, that long driveway up there says no trespassing. No, don't go there. You don't want to go to see it. So they warn them off. But let's have the conversation, right? So Census Bureau comes to the door and they knock on the door. They're like, hi, are you Matthew Spear? Yes. Who's asking? Yeah, we're with the Census Bureau. Okay. How many questions? We've got 11 questions. Okay. Get started. Here we go. Are you Matthew Owen Spear? Yes, I am. Is your last four your social security? Yes, it is. Is your birthday? That's as much information as I'm giving you. This conversation's over. If you now have 4 pieces of information for my identity, and now you have enough to go ahead and do at least enough information to get into my security codes, to know secret questions, I'm not giving you any more information without a court order. So, okay, well, we're just going to put that in there. Okay, great. Now what? Okay. Do you live in this house? Yes. Do you rent or own? I own. And now they say, have you ever had sex with a man? What? What? How about this? Do you hate Jews? Have you ever worn your wife's underwear? Have you ever had impure thoughts about somebody who's 17 when you're an adult? Do you give at church? When was your last confession? And the reason why those questions is it's a right to privacy. And under the 14th Amendment, those things are protected, but so is self-incrimination. And that falls outside the 14th and falls into the 4th and the 5th. So when you ask somebody, have you committed a crime? It's very similar to asking this question. Do you still beat your wife? No. Oh, you stopped? Yes. You still do? It's an entrapment question. So when you ask someone, are you a citizen of the United States? By saying yes or no, they're openly and willingly admitting to a crime or not. And you can't self-incriminate like that. So they're right. And the Supreme Court was correct. But just because the Supreme Court was correct shouldn't mean that the Supreme Court doesn't have nuance, doesn't have a way to achieve that without breaking personal rights and privacy. How you could fix that is, do you have your voter ID card? Yes, I do. I would like to see it, please. Here you go. Thank you. Boop. All right, there you go. All right, let's go ahead and do the census. Now you haven't self-incriminated. If you say no, then the conversation stops. Thank you so much, Mr. Aguilar. Have a wonderful day. And you leave. Now, there are other people who are not going to have a voter ID card. Why aren't they going to have a voter ID card? Why aren't they going to have it? Well, because they didn't register to vote. So how about another acceptable form of ID, like a driver's license? And you're going to be able to identify whether somebody is an American citizen or not an American citizen. Then if those people want to be counted and they want to be tabulated, then it's their responsibility to prove their identity, and then it's not a privacy issue. It's a voluntary issue. So simply adding an amendment to the question is, you don't have to answer this question. But the failure to answer this question will stop the process. Are you an American citizen? Still illegal. Even if they volunteer, it's still entrapment. But what you can do is say the following. Do you have your voter ID or driver's license? Do you have a birth certificate that I could see? I don't feel comfortable giving you that information. Okay, now let's go to the last part of the form. Due to you not participating in the general questions to qualify you as an American citizen, we're here to let you know, here is a piece of paper with the following things that you can do to be counted. You can go ahead and go online and upload those documents, or you can go to the local DMV or schoolhouse or whatever the fuck it is, fudge it is, and you can register to be counted in the census. If you do it by this date, you will still be counted. If you don't, unfortunately, you won't. There it is. Simple, easy, done, process is over. But it's the right to privacy where that follows under. If we get Trump in for 4 more years, then what? They will erase it all as soon as they get back in. Well, this is why you need to ensure that the number one thing that Donald Trump does is secure those 2 positions that are going to open up, most likely with Justice Thomas. And you're going to have to, the next election is going to not remake the court. We'll still have an advantage, but understand the advantage we have right now, everything's going Republicans' way. You got to get the courts, because that is the last line of defense. It used to be that the Senate was the last line of defense for this tomfoolery. You can't trust the House. You can't trust Congress. Congress is no longer working in America's best interest. They are a uniparty. They are interested in frivolous spending, and to get what they need from their constituents passed, they have to pass pork barrel, completely wasteful spending, because this is the new way of Washington. You trade ponies in order to get small pittance of what you want. This is the way it works. This is not the way it was designed to work. This is why the Founding Fathers didn't want a 2-party system. But here we are. We are now the Greeks. We are now the Romans. We are on the precipice, the fall of the empire. And if you want to read The Rise and Fall of Democracy, a series of books when it comes to the Greeks and the Romans, book 7 is where we are at, and it ends at book 8. The Greeks and the Romans fall from grace in book 8, and they collapse because their Senate and their Congress is so corrupt that the rest of the country and their government falter. And when that happens, foreign countries obliterate their claim on civilization and the populace. We're in book 7, which is the rise and fall of the Congress and the Senate. We're right there. So you have to get the courts. And the president is really, he's just a 4-year mouthpiece. You're right. Executive orders can ultimately change. So you need the SCOTUS. You need to redefine what an executive order is. And ultimately, an executive order was designed for one thing and one thing alone. It was designed to take the money that the House gave them through appropriations to enforce certain laws and legislation that were passed or that were remanded back or were amended, to cut the red tape on executing and enforcing those laws. So the president could go ahead and, with a stroke of a pen, approve something that normally would be slowed down by bureaucratic red tape or state law. In order to get those things done, he would write an executive order. Now it's just it's a free get out of jail free card. It's a free check to write and do whatever you want in order to pass whatever you can't get through the House and the Senate. Question of the year: what was in those documents of Donald Trump? I think a lot of it was Crossfire Hurricane. Yep. I think Donald Trump took an insurance policy. I think he took things that proved Biden, Obama, Tapper, Brennan, Comey, and everyone else were in on destroying him. The spying on his campaign, the dirty dossier, Strzok and Page, everything, all of it was designed to go after Trump. And I think he took that information. Why was it? Because here's the thing. 2 days after Donald Trump left office and Joe Biden put in office, Joe Biden put through an executive order to ensure that all the documents that Donald Trump have, sequester them back. Or request them back, excuse me, not sequester. Request them back and to be document classified at a certain designation, which ultimately takes away his Presidential Records Act and takes his ability to claim presidential privilege. So it would make sense. Why wasn't Trump given 2 years normally given? He did get this 2 years. But it's a formality. It's a formality. This whole document scandal thing started in 2022. That was well past his presidency. The request came through because ultimately there was supposedly, according to NARA, is that there were documents that they recognized that they did not have in their possession, which they should have. And when the FBI went ahead and had a conversation and the lawyers, and they put this forward, that they ultimately subpoenaed the records. Matt, I want to know, and others too, why the push to vote early? Why does it matter if I vote early or on voting day? I don't understand this. Don, it's pretty simple. And the reason why is because you don't know what's going to happen on voting day. You don't know if you're going to blow a tire. You don't know, God forbid, that something could happen to you. Maybe your husband or daughter or son is sick and you're in the hospital and you can't go. You don't know if you're going to break a hip and be bedridden. You don't know if it's going to rain or snow. Look what happened in the primaries. I mean, look what happened to a lot of states that voter turnout dropped. It just happened in Donald Trump's primary in Iowa. How cold and freezing it was. So, and that suppressed the vote massively. I mean, I think 1/10 of what usually show up for a primary showed up. What if that was the election? And it also secures to make sure no tomfoolery happens. I went in line to vote in 2020, and when I did, 15 people all around me were pushed to the side, and they said, you're going to have to wait a second. We have to verify your registration. And of course, I still got to vote, but I had to wait 30 minutes. How many people just left? How many people didn't ensure that their vote was counted and processed? I always wait until I scan it in the machine and get the green light. And then I actually go online to check to make sure my vote is counted. Why not do that early? The reason why is because if we do it early, more people will do it early. More people will vote. And Democrats get these votes in, and they do it when it's convenient for them, which gives them more power to have more people vote. It decreases the lines on election day. It becomes easier for people to go ahead and do an early vote process because they can do it whenever they see they deem fit. So I'm encouraging people to vote early. We need to get involved in that. And then if for some reason you check to see if your vote's counted, well, then you've always have election day to fall back on. But why make that one day the only time you can vote when Democrats aren't doing that? So the old adage where, you can't fight fire with fire, that's not true. In fact, you can put a fire out with a larger fire. I know that you don't like, I know that doesn't make any sense to you, but you can. You can actually suck the air out of one room and extinguish a fire if you can control the airflow in that other room. They do it on ships all the time. They'll seal the doors on ships and they'll just rob the air from out of it. You can fight fire with fire. Explosions can put out fire. There's a lot of different ways to fight fire with fire. And in this case, if the Democrats are doing it, we're fighting fire with nothing. And we can't be archaic in the way that we vote. We have got to move forward because I'll tell you, this generation is disenfranchised with voting. They're disenfranchised with having families. They're disenfranchised with marriage. They're disenfranchised with a lot of things. And it's our job to try to encourage them to get out there and vote. That's the answer. If someone in New York is successful, does that open the door for Tara Reid to take FGB to? Yeah, of course. Tara Reid should absolutely go after Joe Biden as soon as he leaves office. Of course. But nobody's going to do that because Joe Biden's not going to run again. The only reason they're doing this to Donald Trump is he's running. If he just would have went away, they already gave him that. Don't you remember the third impeachment that they were trying to do for J6? He was out of office already. And Democrats are like, all right, this is a moot point. He's not going to run again. Nobody expected him to be the Phoenix and come back from the dead. Watch my episode, Donald Trump Rising from the Ashes. It's a great episode. Nobody expected him to rise from the ashes. Nobody. Everybody thought he was done. There was nobody who thought he wasn't. Anybody who says that they don't, they're lying. So, no problem. I have no problem answering questions, y'all. I don't mind it at all. But unfortunately, I was reading all those questions, and I wasn't able to see any chat. I'm reading. So if I missed anything, guys, let me know, okay? But I was reading the questions. So let's listen to some of these SCOTUS calls, and I think it's going to shed some light on some things. First of all, folks, Olivia says to me, Matt, if I'm not on, people don't donate. And I'm like, that hurts. So Olivia's not on, guys and girls, but she's right. Donations are real tough when she's not on. And I know she's a pretty easy person to look at, but you're hurting my feelings, y'all. You have the chance, if you could, it would make a huge difference. You can tip and donate to the DUM Show. Our goal is we're trying to get to $1,000 by the end of the month. It hasn't been the best this month. It's a little bit slower on the internet. Not a lot of things are going on. Facebook's been pretty tough, so we need some help. We're trying to continue the show, do this full time, but it's really hard when you're not sponsored and you won't sell out. So I'm under the belief of not selling out and trying to stick to my scruples, tell you the truth, not clickbait, not do what Benny does. It's really hard to do that because people get bored with the truth. If you can help us out, we would appreciate it. linktapgo.com/the Show. Just because Olivia is not here, it doesn't mean that you can't help us out. Let's prove Olivia wrong. If you can help us out, we would appreciate it. And we always say thank you. If you go on linktapgo.com, the Dumb Show, you can just go to thedumbshow.com and do it and go to the donate button. But this way, you can actually tip and you'll see it pop up and you'll see that number move up. And if you go to PayPal, you can do it a little bit more privately. And then I will announce you on the show if you want me to. If you don't want me to, just put it in notes. Help us out, folks. That's what we're trying to do. All right. Go into this video real quick. Let's listen to this. This is Justice Kavanaugh. And he's talking to the Department of Justice. Where is my other? Why did this go back to this? Hold on. I had Leroy in here. Is that why? Oh, yeah, that's why. Hold on. Get rid of that. And open that up. All right, there we go. So this is the Department of Justice lawyer. Kat says, Matt, is it hypocritical for conservatives to jump on board with ballot harvesting now? No, because ballot harvesting isn't mail-in ballots. See, people think ballot harvesting is going and taking ballots and filling them out that aren't yours. That's not the definition of ballot harvesting. No, Kat. Mom's not home. So if you read it, okay, be quiet, go away. Okay, I don't want to kill you, Kat, but I'm gonna have to do it if you don't be quiet. Okay, out. Nothing like a hairbrush thrown on the ground to scare a cat. Ballot, I'm not mean to her. She will sit here and meow for 45 minutes till mom comes home. Ballot collecting, also known as ballot harvesting or ballot chasing, is the gathering or submitting of completed absentee or mail-in voter ballots by third-party individuals, volunteers, or workers, rather than submission by voters themselves directly to ballot collection sites. Now, those two things can be misinterpreted, right? Is if you go ahead and you collect a ballot, fill it out, and then take it, no, you have committed crime. But if you go ahead and collect at like a church or a youth center or a local school, and then once you collect all those, drop those off in a ballot box, that's what Dinesh D'Souza was saying, is people are stuffing boxes. I'm not going to get into the 2,000 Mules cacophony of shit because that entire thing sucks. Thomas, thank you, brother. We appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Excuse me. I'm drinking my shake. And let's see. Appreciate Thomas. You are the best. Also, want to thank the guy who's always anonymous. So Anon guy. Thank you, Anon guy. I can't, you won't let me say your name. So want to thank both of you. Yeah. You meant delivering a sealed ballot. It's 100% okay as long as you're an authorized drop-off center. Now, a family, it depends upon which state you're in, but most states are, with a family of anybody who lives in the domicile who are over 18 years old, you can collect up to 4 or 5 ballots and drop them off for your family. As far as having a drop-off center, you have to certify with the FEC and the election committee, and you can create a ballot collection center. Okay, and you can also go ahead and go door to door and collect ballots if people fill them out. You have the right. You can do it at a regular location and register people to vote, like a grocery store. There's a lot of things you can do if you actually get it approved and do it the right way. The point of the reason why it's huge for Democrats is because it allows them to influence the vote legally by encouraging people to vote and making it as easy as possible. This is something we've been very resistant to for a long time, and it's hurting us because people want an easier way to vote. Now, listen, I understand it's a rite of passage. My dad taught me the same thing. You get your ass out there and you vote. If you don't vote, you're failing. You got to get out there. You got to make it happen, right? You got to be an American. You got to be a patriot. It's your right. It's your civic duty to vote. I know all these things. But that doesn't mean that we don't have to be modern and modernize the process, because times are changing. And if we want to be competitive in this election process, this is what we have to do. Thank you, Anon, $10. We appreciate it. You are the best. Very, very much. Thank you. And Uno Mas coming through. Thomas, thank you so much. $100. We appreciate it. That, you can see, immediately changed our goal. We're at 460. Thank you guys so much for helping us out. We know it's tough right now. It's hard for everybody. That means a great deal. Once again, if you take care of your family, take care of your husband, your wife, make sure the kids got their presents, you got your rent paid, all that's done. Mortgage is taken care of. And instead of going maybe buying 30 coffees at Starbucks this month, maybe do 25, whatever it is. But help out the DUM Show. We do this all the time for you. We appreciate when you help us out. Let's listen to this call first of all, because I think these SCOTUS calls are huge, and this is one of them. This is an actual recording. Here's the question by Kavanaugh to Michael Dreeben, who is just an absolute twat waffle. I can't stand this guy. He's the Justice Department attorney. This guy's a pencil dick. Here we go.
That's the concern going forward, is that the system will, when former presidents are subject to prosecution, and the history of Morrison versus Olson tells us it's not going to stop. It's going to cycle back and be used against the current president or the next president and the next president and the next president after that.
So you're getting clarification from Kavanaugh of where he's going to vote. That's fairly obvious. Here is Kavanaugh,
and determined that, number one, the federal murder statute does.
Here's the question from Kavanaugh directly about Obama. Listen to this one.
How about President Obama's drone strikes?
What's up? Don't camera. It's there from now on, so you gotta watch it. What's up?
No, nothing. I did not get a hit. I got 2 strikeouts. We got a 1, 2, 3 in the first inning. I got 2 strikeouts.
I saw that. Did you guys win?
No, we lost by like 2 points or something. And I got hit like right.
Yeah, I know. Mom told me you got dirty. You played hard, huh?
Yeah.
Gotta wash that hat. All right, I'm almost done. I'll be out in a bit. Sorry about not having hits, but you got 2 walks, right?
3. Yes.
3 walks. They walked.
I got hit and then got walked 2 times.
Okay, well,
Oh yeah, that's true.
they're starting to pitch around you. They know better.
I swear.
All right, I'll be out in a minute, guys. All right, let's finish the rest of this.
The Office of Legal Counsel looked at this very carefully and determined that, number one, the federal murder statute does apply to the executive branch. The president wasn't personally carrying out the strike, but the aiding and abetting laws are broad. And it determined that a public authority exception that's built into statutes and that applied particularly to the murder statute because it talks about unlawful killing did not apply to the drone strike. So this is actually the way that the system should function. The Department of Justice takes criminal law very seriously. It runs it through the analysis very carefully with established principles. It documents them, it explains them, and then the president can go forward in accordance with it. And there is no risk of prosecution for that course of activity.
You're full of shit. You're full of shit. You can't tell me running guns to Mexico is legal. You can't tell me releasing cash that's been in probate for 35 years, it was used in terrorist activity, wasn't legal. You can't tell me that getting involved in the Paris Climate Accord wasn't literally a money Ponzi scheme where China said, yeah, we're going to go ahead and do something around these many years when it comes to climate change and reduce it by a percentage that we'll disclose at a later time. Considering that they are the #1 polluter in the world when it comes to our oceans, when it comes to the air and everything else, you're going to sit here and tell me that places like India and China give you a thumb up the keister and there's nothing wrong with that. You can't sit here and tell me that you go and giving pallets full of cash to Iran and appeasing them with the nuclear deal and placating to them isn't somehow going to be persecuted in international law when it comes to Jews and what happened with Iran.
Love you. Good night.
Love you. By running those proxies. You can't tell me that. So do you know how I know you can't tell me, Justice Department, Michael Dreeben, you freaking capital H and ending it with Omo? You want to know how I know? Because you haven't done an investigation. Because none of you guys have actually done oversight on this. You haven't brought charges. You haven't looked at that. You're not the judge. Department of Justice does not necessarily prosecute the case. They collect the evidence and then they give it to the Attorney General. You can't sit here and if you haven't done an investigation and say there's no there. You guys did that shit with Hillary Clinton. Said there was no intent. You literally laid out the litigation of how she should be in prison and then said, yeah, but she didn't mean to. You know what I mean? Who is the troll? What troll? I didn't see the troll. Do I think the economy is growing under Biden? I think we're on a bubble, but no. I think it's growing the wrong way. I think we take a look at gas prices. I think we take a look at inflation. When you raise interest rates, you destimulate the economy. You discourage lending practices. Housing prices are absolutely ridiculous. Interest rates on houses are absolutely ridiculous. Go try to get a loan, a short-term loan for your business. Look at the interest rates on that. Look at the cost of food. Look at how much money it's costing people. $860 a month for the average to low income families are having $860 less a month. That's ridiculous. That's an entire work week for some people. Now taxes, he's proposing a 44% tax increase on $1 million incomes. $1 million aren't what they used to be. $1 million are now the $500,000 people annually. So is our economy growing? No, because look at the overall GNP. Look at the growth rate. Look at our overall spending versus what we're taking in. The stock market is not indicative of vast wealth. The stock market's been on a bubble for about 7 years. It will crash. COVID almost did it. But what did we do? We went ahead and we stopped trading. If we wouldn't have stopped trading, stock market wouldn't have recovered. Stock market would be sitting around 7,500. And so no, because the economy for overall the federal dollar and where we're at from the states is different than where the average homeowner and the average middle class person is. The middle class is shrinking to the point where they just renegotiated what is considered middle class. I used to be upper middle class. I am now middle class. And if this keeps happening, I'm gonna have to go get a job, which I don't want to do. This is my job. I love my job, but this is where we're at, unfortunately. And a lot of people are in the same way. Woe is me, right? Woe is me. But this is where we are, folks. This is a harsh reality. So do I think the economy is growing? Yes, in some areas. In some areas. Do I think it's enough to really change the voter and to hit the middle income profits and salaries and wages to overcompensate and take over inflation? No, not at all. Not at all. Because I'll tell you that I look at what I paid in taxes and I'm just like, holy shit. Ramon, thank you for your donation. $69. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. This helps, folks. This makes a difference. You guys know I 3.5 years, I just held back from, asking for donations. I hate doing it. I love that I could do it. But I couldn't give you the time that I give you now. I really couldn't. I was on a couple hours a night, but the articles and the overall, recorded show and, the slap check and doing all those type of things, it takes a lot and it's a full-time job. So I appreciate you guys helping. It means a lot. Never want to hold the hand out. We feel we give a great value for what we do, and the people that can help. And the people who can't, we don't care. Just give us a like. Matt, doesn't the Russian hoax count as election interference since it was based on lies? Of course. All of it is, but none of it's going to matter because nobody's going to do anything about it. That's the way this is. I mean, for God's sakes, folks, here's the reality. This should drive you crazy. Let me walk you through this. Me Too movement happens. Harvey Weinstein. Sorry. You find out that there is this giant concerted effort to cover up sexual impropriety, not just in Hollywood, not just colleges, not just at media centers like Fox and CNN and MSNBC, but within the hallowed grounds of our frickin' country, that senators and state legislatures use taxes, and they have $132 million slush funds over the last 20 years to pay off when they sexually harassed interns or had extramarital affairs where they're being blackmailed, or they got a drunk driving. They got nailed for drunk driving and ultimately wanted to handle it outside the courts. Folks, this was all exposed. The Me Too movement brought down people on both sides, and they went with a scythe and just took everyone out. Whether it was true or whether it was not, just wiped everybody out. And look at what came from it. So the one thing we knew, the one person who we knew who was responsible was Harvey Weinstein. Weinstein was involved in Hollywood. He traded positions for sex. He made careers for sex. He created other people together, and had sexual favors given to people as some sort of payment for influence. This guy's a dirtbag. He's a fucking rapist. Pardon my French, sorry. And you got Donald Trump, who supposedly goes into a Bergdahl's department store, which he may have. I saw E. Jean Carroll when she was younger. She's very pretty. She's absolutely freaking nuts now, but she was pretty. Donald Trump has been with a lot of women. We all know this. He's a philanderer. He probably did something with her. I don't doubt it. I really don't. I doubt the accusation of rape. He probably did touch her. They probably did make out in a frickin' dressing room. And she went ahead and did it years later from a time that she doesn't know when it was. When the judge says that she wasn't raped, but she was sexually assaulted, but Trump didn't touch her. Explain to me how you sexually assault someone without touching them. Donald Trump, this case literally has been swept under the rug because nobody wants to touch it. It's ugly. It's dirty. She goes on national TV. She paints rocks and trees blue and pink in her frickin' yard. She names her cat Vagina and her other dog or cat Tits. Whatever it is. It's a CSI episode, for God's sakes. There's no evidence of her being there. There's no evidence of Donald Trump at Bergdahl's. She doesn't cry out in the dressing room and say rape, rape, rape. They probably went in there. He knew her husband, who was a TV commentator for the news. They were good friends. Trump knew him. Come on. They probably were messing around just like people do. He probably diddled her, in the dressing room. We've all done stupid stuff. And then she turns around and says it's rape. That's probably what happened. And today, they go ahead and drop the entire case against Weinstein and the charges and his convictions with the state Supreme Court so he can appeal that he appeals the charges and now has to have a retrial. What? So what you're telling me is that somebody who is accused of rape with no specifics, with all of those holes, they are throwing the book at and trying to put in financial ruin. But Weinstein gets a pass? There's your answer. There's your answer right there. So when you ask me the question, what can we do? How do we influence this? How do we make it happen? I don't know. What I do know is that, hold on a second. I got to put this in. No donation is too small. No donation is too large. $1. $1 gets you on the screen. Thank you, Sarah. We appreciate it. Anything helps. We understand that even $1 can mean, man, I can tell you $1, we would go and buy the 29-cent ramens. And we would get 3 of them for $1. No taxes. We didn't have dollar store, but you would go into the Safeway and you get 3 ramens, generic ramen. And it was always the horrible flavor. It was never chicken or beef. It was always pork or some shit. And that would feed us. We'd have it for dinner those 3 nights. And then we wouldn't eat breakfast. We would survive on 1 ramen all day because that's all the money we had. So even $1, it means the world. Because if someone gives, let me give you an example quickly. I just want to do this real quick. There was a time where if my wife and I found $1 in our pocket, we would get on our knees and thank God. $1. We would go through the couch cushions, not a lie, trying to find any money. And then there was a time when $1 no longer mattered, and we would look and we would find $10 or $20, and we would be like, oh, and like that was like Christmas for us. And we would go out and buy a week's worth of groceries for $20. And then we graduated from 10 and we went to 100. And when we would find $100, it would be like, oh my God, we're going Outback. Let's go. And then we graduated from $100 and then it became $1,000. We would get a refund from the escrow, or we would get a tax return we didn't expect. And it changed our life. Now we're in a place where if we get $10,000, we're going to put it towards things that are going to help pay off debt. But $1,000 doesn't mean as much as it used to, and $100 and $10. But for people in life, $1 means just as much to somebody who has 1,000 and is excited about 1,000. Money doesn't change your need for it. You just buy more expensive things, and it winds up controlling portions of your life, even at a greater magnitude. And being without it is devastating when you have a lot of it. That's what I've learned. Like when I would lose a job when I was poor, it was no big deal, because I could survive a lot longer. But now, if I don't have some income coming in for 30 days, I'm done. So $1 means a lot. And I'll never, ever, ever overlook that. What can people do about our corrupt government? You have to influence the state and local government. Federal government has very little impact on you except once a year with taxes, every 4 years with an election. Very rarely does the federal government impact you. It truly is your state, local, and city. So find your... There's a movie called Waiting, and it's one of the most foul, disgusting movies ever, and I love it. It's with Ryan Reynolds, and it's bad. I mean, capital B-A-D. But there's a line in there where there's this guy named Bishop, and Bishop is the GU, which is essentially the guy who does all the dishes, and he takes out the trash, and he wears the white T-shirt, and he smokes a pack a day, 2 packs a day, and he just literally is the dishwasher. And Bishop, which is just funny, the irony of it is that he is a PhD is a psychologist, but a philosopher and a very intelligent guy. And everybody in the restaurant come to him for advice because he's very... deceptive. Because when you look at him, you wouldn't assume, but when he talks, he makes you obviously think he's one of those people. And inside this restaurant in the movie Waiting, there is something called the penis showing game. Now, I worked at Applebee's and Bennigan's, the restaurants depicted in the show, and I will tell you that everything in that movie actually takes place or took place at one point in time in my career, being a GM for Applebee's, being an assistant manager, being a front-end manager, being a bar manager, line cook, host, waiter, done it all. And I will tell you that all of those things in the movie are absolutely true, from the people to the frustrations to the screwing around, all of it. And even the penis showing game. And in this, your job is to show your penis or testicles in a way that you can't just go, hey, look at this. And you've got to surprise people. So for instance, you're in the cooler and you're sitting there and you have to navigate and change your nether region to do certain gymnastics, to create different styles. Making animals or balloons or bat wings out of your genitalia, and then showing has different points and different gravitas. So you would go into the cooler and you would pull down trow and you would, create a display. I'm trying to be really good here. A display, farm animal, whatever it be. And when somebody walks in and they look, you get to ridicule them and call them, a homosexual derogatory term and kick them in the ass. And how many kicks you get is dependent upon the complexity of whatever you create out of your genitalia. Does everyone understand? There's different ones. There's the brain. You can figure it out. The bat wing, the goat. All of these things are disgusting. But in that, there is a troubled young man who is trying to find his way through life. And he's struggling that his friend that was in high school with him is in college now, that he's graduated, that he makes like $70,000 a year. And this guy's waiting tables and he was, valedictorian. And he's struggling with life. And he's offered the assistant manager position at Shenanigans, this cheeky restaurant. And the manager is just like every Bennigan's or Applebee's manager, complete douche plow and balding, fluffy and fat, and, hits on the 17-year-old hostess. And he offers this young man a job. And he struggles because he's like, I could be making $30,000 a year. It's better than waiting tables. And he has this dilemma. And the entire movie just navigates around the dilemma that he has in regards to making a decision if he wants to become this assistant manager and really surrender his ambition and his dreams in the face of reality. So it's a very complex movie for a dick and fart movie, but it's still very complex. And in that, in the very end, he asks Bishop, this is the black GU dishwasher, a question. And he ultimately, when he starts to sit down, Bishop says, in not so many words, you need to create your own penis showing game. And of course, he's like, what? What are you talking about? No, I want to talk about my problems. Here's my problem. And Bishop's like, let me tell you something. When this restaurant first started and I first started working here 4 or 5 years ago, it was downtrodden. It wasn't making revenue. People were unhappy. They hated it. The food sucked. Customers didn't come in. But then the penis showing game was created and people started having fun at work and morale increased and the food got better. And the managers overlooked certain things and camaraderie was formed. And then customers were receptive and they felt the energy from the wait staff and the cooks and the host and the bartenders. And ultimately the penis showing game saved this restaurant. And he looks at him and he says, you have to create your own penis showing game. And he goes, and he stands up and he's like, thanks, Bishop. It was really good. And he looks at him, he goes, one question. Are you saying that me taking the manager position at the restaurant is my penis showing game? And Bishop goes and gives him this look of complete, just a negligible, silent interaction of, are you fucking kidding me? No, that's not what the penis showing game is. And it's a very interesting movie if you can get past all the vulgarity and everything else, because the life lesson is this, is that when you are trying to achieve your dreams or you're trying to achieve something that you want to do, the old adage is that you should do whatever it takes, no matter how much you hate it or how bad it is or how distasteful it is to your palate for what you're truly trying to create. And whatever masterpiece you're trying to plate and eventually devour, no matter how bad it is, you do what you don't want to do until you can do what you want to do. And to me, I think it's a great lesson. So you've got to invent your own penis showing game is what I'm trying to tell you. If you want to stop the corrupt federal government, you need to create your own penis showing game. If you want to influence something that tall and that insurmountable, you're not going to do it in a part-time effort. You got to put everything into it. This is my penis showing game. This is my effort to make an impact. And you have to show up just like a comedian or just like an artist. And sometimes there's people in your audience and other times there's not. And sometimes they pay you and buy your CDs, and the other time they throw beer cans at you. And you have to go through the trials and tribulations of success and failure and mediocrity, and then back to failure over and over and over again before you're going to achieve success. And this is true in everything in life, whether it's sports or whether it's marriage or a job. Everybody needs to create their penis showing game. So my point is you must find something to give back to make change. And I don't care if it's city council. I don't care if you have a podcast. I don't care if you want to start writing. But whatever it is, you need to find it. Otherwise, you don't want it. And you don't want it bad enough yet. And you're content with doing the shit you don't want to do until you're ready to do the things you want to do. I was done doing the shit I didn't want to do. I was done driving 2 hours a day. I was done getting in a metal coffin. I was done going and doing the same freaking KPI reports and just repeating numbers and trying to achieve insurmountable growth with shit product that was overpriced and overinflated with horrible budgets and expectations, and screw my people over with promises of advancement that would never come. I can't do it anymore. I won't do it anymore. I did what I had to do until I wasn't capable of doing it anymore. This is what I'm meant to do. Whether I'm good at it or not is remains to be seen. But for me to sit here and say after 3 years that it's that I've put enough into this to establish whether it will be successful is a far cry from the truth. Because if you look at Joe Rogan, it took him a decade. Look at Ben Shapiro. Look at Jordan Peterson. No one ever heard of Jordan Peterson up to 5, 6, 7 years ago. It takes time to be recognized. And you may think, oh, well, Matt, you've got 100 people on here and 10,000 people, 1 million people interact with you. That's not what it takes. It takes someone to see the talent that you have, recognize it, and then have the capabilities to change your life if you're willing to jump. That takes effort. And I can't look my wife in the face and we can't look at each other and say that 3.5 years is enough time to know whether this truly is something that's important. But to me, it is. Every article I write, I put as much effort. Every show I do, I put all the effort. And I hear people, oh, you're boring. You suck. Get to the point. Oh, my God, it's too fast. Slow down. Oh, you talk too much. Oh, you don't talk enough. God, don't wear a hat. Wear a hat. Why don't you wear a suit? Why do you cuss? Why don't you cuss? Look at your tattoos. And you are putting yourself in a situation of vulnerability where you have to grow exponentially if you're going to keep up with the amount of refuse and negativity that comes at you. This is true in work. This is true in marriage. It's true when you have kids, is that there will be constant challenges that define you and how you interact with them. So when people ask me, what do I do about the government? What do I do about these things? You create your own penis showing game is what you do. That's what you do. And that's the best answer I can give you. Okay? Good. I'm reading. Matt, check PayPal. Okay. I'm checking. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you very much for the donation. I will get that up right now. What do you mean the PayPal link tap go doesn't work for you? What do you mean? Hold on. Sorry, guys. Let me take it. We're wrapping up anyway. So, Oh, it's the end of the night. You can tell. It's been a long day. All right. So you go donate to the show right here. There's tip, and tip will take you to the DUM Show right here, which is the tip directly into the show. And then donate to the show. It's right here. Works fine. What would the government do if we donated money not to any of them, but to trillions of dollars we owe? It would get spent the way they want. You know what I mean? I don't think the government would find a stipulation. You're mixing Mexican with continental. Come on, man. I thought you were better than that. I'm reading everybody's comments. Hold on. Yes, Amy. Can we start our own booby showing game? You guys do whatever the hell you want. I don't care. Yeah, Mike. Way to take it. Way to take it completely out of context. Right click the button and hit copy, JD. See if that works. Are you on your computer or are you on your phone? All right. I'm going to show you guys one last thing and then I got to go. That's how you donate. There you go, JD. You did it. See? It was done. Good. Then let me do this. Got to make sure everyone gets their recognition. All right, now I'll do the one last thing and then we'll go. JD, thank you guys. We are that much closer to our goal, $540. If my George Bush math, that's $460 away. We'll see if we can get a few more tonight or continue to work tomorrow on our favorite day of the week, Red Friday. Thank you, brother. Here's the video I wanted to show you. And I just want you guys to listen to this because this is crazy. Listen to this.
It's getting a lot of attention after a judge issued a rare and much talked about punishment for a man who admitted to raping a young teenager.
The suspect will serve prison time and will be physically castrated. Miranda Thomas spoke with prosecutors today. Miranda.
Prosecutors say many sex crimes go unreported because victims are afraid, but they're hoping this case serves as an example of what could happen when victims come forward. Prosecutors in Livingston Parish say justice is finally served after 54-year-old Glenn Sullivan admitted he raped a young girl.
The allegations have began several years ago that Mr. Sullivan had repeatedly raped her, and one of the rapes, actually the first rape, at the age of 14, she became pregnant.
A judge sentenced Sullivan to 50 years behind bars and physical castration. Castration is something Assistant District Attorney Brad Cassio says is not common, but paints a clear picture.
The state legislature gives us tools that we can use to fight crime and protect victims. And this is one of those tools in a prosecutor's toolbox that we have at our disposal. And if I have the opportunity to do it, and I think that it's just, and that the crime calls for it, I'm going to try my best to use it.
Current law says a judge can issue a chemical castration as punishment in certain sex crime convictions, but a defendant can choose physical castration.
Thank you, Deb. Appreciate the donation. 561, folks. We're getting there. 339. $439 remaining. I'm tired.
Which is what happened
Thank
in
you.
Sullivan's case. State Senator Regina Barrow is working on legislation.
Violet says, Matt, do I have to cancel my Silver Club to upgrade? No. Okay, let me give everyone a quick update. Be patient. I'm sorry. Here's the deal. I'm going to come back and I'll play the rest of this. The DUM Club. Let me explain what's had to happen. We have had to create an entire email system which has all the instructions for the Spreely private page, for the news with no ads, for the Cost Club membership, for the coupon distribution, for the discounts, for the private chats, the calendaring of those, to have the reoccurring subscriptions, to have a cancellation page, to have an upgrade page. We had to create all this from scratch. So everybody who's waiting and they're just like, dude, where's my email? It's coming. We were going to have it today. Terry is really busy. I'm going to nail him down tomorrow and we got to get it sent out because we have the call. If I don't have the email set up, I'm going to send everyone the call instructions on Zoom at noon on Saturday that Olivia and I will be on. We want you all to join. Just come on, whether by phone or video. It's just us. We're not going to be recording it. We're not going to be doing any of that. So just hang tight. We're getting real close. So right now, subscriptions are still there. If it goes to where we don't have it by the first of the month, then I may just have to refund some money to people. If you can understand that we're just trying to get everything put together, but it's getting close. We're really close. And everyone's earning credit towards the quarterly gift boxes and stuff like that too. So hang tight. I appreciate you asking. You'll be able to upgrade. Like if you're a silver, there'll be a way to upgrade. And if you're in gold and you want to go down to silver, you can downgrade. I've already canceled one subscription and upgraded somebody, but I don't want to do that again. I just want you to have to go in, Violet, and do it yourself. It's really simple, and that will be accessible here shortly. Here's the rest of the video.
To expand the use of physical castration as a punishment for child sex crimes. Under her bill, a judge could order a physical castration for anyone convicted of a sex offense involving a child under the age of 13. The bill passed through the Senate floor on Tuesday afternoon. Barrow says it is a necessary change.
And it would change individuals' thinking as it relates. At least they'll think about it.
Thank you, Amy.
They realize the real true consequence of having it cut off or eliminated, it may actually make them think twice before their actions.
By law, Sullivan's castration will take place no later than 1 week before his release. However, the Department
Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Amy. Appreciate you both.
Decision.
DOC could do it next week, or they could do it 40 years from now. You know, the victim did her job by coming forward, reporting her case, and sticking with it. Our office did our job by prosecuting it. The judge did his job, and now we trust DOC to do theirs.
Senator Barrow has made this proposal before, but this year is making progress. It will head to the House floor tomorrow.
Ramon, I think I got you. You're saying waiting, but I think I put your name in there, buddy. Yeah, I did. So making sure you're covered. Listen, I'll be honest with you. I think this is a half measure. Leaving a man his penis who rapes a kid? No. Take it all. Don't do chemical castration. Remove it. Turn him into a gelding. And the reason why is because if you have somebody who is a computer hacker, you take away their ability to use a computer. If you have somebody who is writing checks for check fraud, you blacklist them from FDIC, and all security and banks is their ability to open up checking and bank accounts. If you have somebody who manipulates stocks, you ban them from trading. And there are punishments. But if you have someone who harms a child sexually, chemical castration isn't good enough. Remove them completely. And then take their hands. And then permanently, surgically sew their mouths shut and leave just enough of a hole to be fed through a straw. Take away all ability to touch or use any portion of stimulation on their body on a child ever again. And that will deter people. And then if they continue, then you take their eyes. Because these people are you cannot rehab them. You cannot help them. They are broken, and they are a threat and a danger to society. I think, to me, this is a half measure. I personally think that if you're a pedophile and you do this, those things should happen, and if it happens again, then you're hung in public square. There is never a reason, never a reason to harm a child like that. And the only thing you can do to those people is to kill that sickness inside of them, and that's impossible. So you must remove the things that enable them to project that sickness onto others, and that is to remove all the things that I said. Or just give the dad 5 minutes with a baseball bat, and this problem will fucking take care of itself. That person will never function again as a human being after I'm done with them. Ever. Folks, thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me Show. People on Spreely, we're going to be going black here in a minute. I think we'll be done by the time, but thank you for watching. Twitter, thank you. Rumble, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're on. Spreely TV, Twitch, we appreciate it. If you have not had a chance, please, thank God we got to 112. People are learning to like the show. Continue to do that. Share the show. If you see an article, throw a like on it. That is the best way to stay in contact. That is the best way to keep our page moving. And you might be like, oh my gosh, you expect me to share everything I see? Yes, please. Share an article that you like. If you hate it, don't. But if you see a video you like, do it. If you like something, share it. That interaction helps us. And if you're like, I can't give money. I hear people all the time, I want to help Matt, but I can't afford it. Then don't. Because I can't afford the sleepless nights thinking about you not being able to afford it. I don't want that. I want you to give till it feels good, not to when it hurts. And there's a lot of people who will take anything. I don't want that. Take care of your family first. I appreciate everybody tonight. Great show. Yeah, it was loads of fun. We'll continue. I'll be back tomorrow night with myself and Leroy and Olivia. We'll be back Friday. It's Red Friday. Make sure to wear something red. We'll have news articles in the morning. If you haven't had a chance, go to thedumnews.com, thedumclub.com, and thedumshow.com to get your hats, to get your shirts, your coffee, and everything else. Go Avs tomorrow. Appreciate you. And remember, read in the comments. We have got Veterans Crisis Hotline, 1-800-273-8255, or dial 988. Press 1. Veterans are important. Help is out there. Please reach out. Thanks for watching, folks. God bless. Thanks for watching the show. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, Olivia, and Mike. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on the Spreely.tv network and all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.